Good evening, good evening. I'll just wait for some people to join. Happy Friday and Bank Holiday Friday at that. Do say hi if you've joined us, just so I can see there are people here. Hi Tina. Hi Dawn. We'll just give everyone a couple of minutes. Trying to be super organised today because I've got some very big shoes to fill. Obviously Friday is normally Dawn's day to do a Facebook Live, but Dawn has been preoccupied with little people for a few days, so I said I'd come in and take her place. Yes, so be kind. I've got some very big shoes to fill. Now I haven't done a Facebook Live for a long time actually, so it's quite exciting, but also quite dreary, so I'm hoping the light stays okay. Hope you can hear me okay and hope you can see everything okay. I've got my little project here in front of me. Hi Mary, hi Carola, hi Dee Susan. Hope you've all had a great day. I'll just give it another few seconds and then we'll make a start and I'll show you what I've been doing. What I did do, however, was prep quite a lot in advance. I thought last thing any of you wanted was to be sat there on a Friday evening watching me die cut and ink edges and things like that. So I've done what I can whilst leaving enough to be able to show you show you what to do. And then afterwards, over this weekend, I will then type up the instructions and I'll post them in the group for you as well. I'm also planning on making a bigger version of this, which I'll also put onto YouTube at some point. Hi Di, good to see you Di. Are you back in your holiday home yet, or are you still in your normal home? Haven't caught up with you for ages actually. Right, so let's make a start. I don't want to keep you too long. So this is my little project and it's actually not my original idea. I've adapted a project from School Pal that was published in 2012 and I've changed it quite considerably. I've changed a lot of the measurements and I've adapted it, but the actual basic instruction for this was from School Pal, so it's only fair to tell you that to start with. And it's a really cute little box. And you can adapt it for absolutely any reason. So it could be a birthday, it could be anniversary, it could be Christmas, whatever you want really, and do whatever you want. And that's what I love about it. It's very, very versatile. And this is a box with 3x3 drawers, and I've just put a little chocolate in there to show you to show just how big they are. And I think even for Christmas, this would be lovely just to fill with little trinkets. I even thought they would be great for crafty friends, and you could fill it with some pearls. I mean, this won't go in here. These are the Lisa Horton barley pearls that I'm using today. But, you know, you could put little packets of pearls or trinkets or embellishments, whatever you want. So you could even make, I thought it'd be a really great idea to make some mini cards, some thank you cards, some gift cards. So yeah, you could do so much with this, and it's held up using, I'll show you this one as well because I've got another one on the go that I've deconstructed. It's just using two little strips of card, which I've cut with edgelets dies, but we'll come to that as we go. Right, so hopefully this is still in view so you can see it. Now the paper I've used is a bit of a sneak peek of things to come, but absolutely adore it. And you can see I've done this in blue. I've got a pink one on the go, and you'll see today I'm doing my project in green, and I've chosen some coordinating papers to go with that. So let's get going. Has anyone got any questions? I will try really hard to keep up with the comments, but if I can't, then I will catch up straight after the live and answer any queries that you've got. So I found the biggest thing that you'll need, your biggest friends in this project are literally a trimmer and a scorer. I've got my bone folder as well, And just some patience, really, really important. And for those of you that know me, I haven't got much patience. So the first couple of times I tried this project and tried my adaptation of it, it just wouldn't work. But I'm pleased I persevered anyway. So we're going to start with the little drawers. And I've already put a couple of these together and really, really cute. So they're an inch high, and they're just little 3x3 drawers. And to create those, you need 3 sheets of 7x7 cardstock. Now, I would recommend at least 200-230 GSM for these, because you want it to be quite sturdy, and you can see, considering this is made from card, it's really quite a sturdy and tough project. And especially if you're giving it for a gift, you want it to stay like that. So this is my 7x7 bit of card, and again I'll put all the instructions online so you don't need to panic about writing everything down as we go. Move my embellishments out the way. And there you go, 7x7, and I've literally scored twice around each edge at 1 inch and 2 inch, and I've done that around every edge, and then I've literally gone over it with my bone folder. And I've also inked around the edges. Normally I ink the edges at the end, but as I said, I didn't want you to be sat there thinking, oh my God, I'm watching it ink edges for hours at a time. So that's what I've done. So I've used my bone folder, and really important you do that, because you really want it to be as accurate as you can. And then what I'm going to do, and this is a tricky bit, well, it's easy actually, but if you're like me, I found my law degree easy, but cutting straight is not one of my biggest things. So what you want to do is literally cut around each bit. So I'll do this quite quickly, but when you're doing it, please take your time. And you're taking 2 of the bits off there, and then 1 of the bit off there. And then what I do is look at how it folds, and just for ease, I'm cutting a little lip there. In the original instructions it said to cut this out completely, but I actually found it quite hard to then make it quite secure as a box, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. So I'll do this as quickly as I can. If you've got any questions, do let me know. No, Tracy, you really don't have to write. I promise I will at some point this weekend put some instructions up for everyone, just so you can see what's what. But yeah, I really love the fact that you can adapt this however you want. And I've already got so many ideas for Christmas. I've got a birthday coming up that I'm thinking would be really nice to put some jewellery. And even if, you know, I know times have been tough, what with COVID and everything, even if you didn't want to spend too much money on something, you know, some of the shops have got some beautiful little jewellery sets that are quite cheap. You know, making something like this and then filling it with some fairly cheap, say, supermarket jewellery or something, will really make an impact, and it will make it look absolutely beautiful. So lots and lots of ideas there for you. There we go. Okay, so I'll just move that out of the way. You will need a little bin, I recommend, because as I did this and I did all the different parts, I had quite lots of bit of rubbish, so I always keep a bin. So this is what you're left with. So I've just cut the bits out, and I will in my instructions show you again which bits to cut out. And then it's just a case of gluing it together. You're not lazy, Tracy. I've never known you be lazy. Now you could use some clips for this, or this is where my glue doesn't work. You could use some clips to help glue this, keep it down once you've glued it. Actually I've done the wrong sides. That's a really good start, isn't it? But I don't bother. I mean, I find you want a good glue, you want something that will stick. So I've got a little bottle of Cosmic Shimmer. I really like the Pin Flare one, but I was scared that I'd run out halfway through, and I didn't want to do that to you tonight. So as you can see, I'm literally just giving her a little pinch, and it sticks quite well. So I'm just going to do that to all 4 edges. Okay. Hope you're all bearing with me and we're not boring you too much just yet. There we go. And then the idea is these little bits you can just fold over, and for the sake of this I am just going to fold them over, but what I've done in my main project is I've actually glued these bits down as well, and that just again makes it just that little bit sturdier for you as well. Okay, and there you go, so that's your drawer. And so you make 3 of them, which is what I've done here. So 3 little drawers, and all I've done is, you don't really get to see much of the drawer, but I've just inked around the edges. Obviously you will decorate with some paper, and I've used some walnut stain distress ink just around the edges. So that's the drawers, so you can put those aside. Now the drawers themselves sit on a little shelf, and I'll show you on the one I've got deconstructed what that looks like. I'll just take my drawers out. Obviously this will also be turned into another project. So these are the drawers, and you make 2 of them. So I'm going to show you how to make one, and I've already made one up. And again, once these are all glued together for card, it's really quite sturdy, and that, you know, that's what I love about this project. It's literally just cardstock and paper, and yet it makes a lovely little gift. No problem, Christine, you can always catch up later. Nice to see you though. So there we go. So for the actual shelf, so you need 2 sheets of cardstock measuring 8 1/4 inch by 5 2/16. And yes, I know, I mean, I normally work in centimetres when I'm crafting, only because that's how I've been brought up, but for some reason I found this project easier to do in inches. I know a lot of you will be grateful for that, but I must admit I did find that quite hard. So again, all the instructions, all the measurements will be there. So it's literally 5 2/16 by 8 1/4 inches. Okay. And what I did here, again, just like the last time, I scored, hoping you can see this, I scored at 1 inch around each side. So again, that's the same depth as the height of my drawer. And then I scored in what is the middle at 4 2/16. So that's literally exactly halfway. And again, I've used my bone folder to give me some really good creases there. I'll just put my trimmer down so it doesn't fall. Now for this one, for the shelf, so this needs to be turned into this one really. So this is one shelf. And to do that, you do the same with the corners. So you literally just cut in little bits out. I have to think about what way I was doing then. I'm so busy talking, I'm bound to forget something or do something wrong at some point. Okay, so I'll just do it quite quickly. And as I said, please excuse my cutting. When I made the main project, so we're not doing it today because I tend to concentrate and I'll go quiet on you. If I'm doing something that I really need to get accurate, I do tend to cut with my trimmer. I've said at the start, you know, I found my law degree far easier than cutting in a straight line. So I've done that for each of the edges, and then for the bits in the middle, I literally just cut a tiny triangle out. So have any of you got anything nice planned this weekend? Yeah, it's a lovely green, Tracy. This is olive green, and you'll see how it matches with my papers as well. So this is essentially the template, and you need 2 of these, but I've already made one up. So to start with, you are literally just gluing this back to back. Now take more time, please. I'm doing this live and to show you the idea, and I will do the instructions. So yeah, just back to back like that and give it a good press. And then all I do is adhere the little shelves. So I'll do that quickly. You could do this with double-sided tape if you wanted. All I'd say is make sure it's strong, because you don't want it to come loose, or to break, especially if you're giving her as a gift. So I do like my wet glue mainly because it gives me that error time, so if I've done something wrong I can quickly whip it off again. There you go, so that's one, and I flip it over and I do exactly the same to this side. Oh, what are you teaching this weekend, Tracy? I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't know, you get the energy, to be honest. I mean, just working and having to fit in one Facebook Live was quite a task at one point, but hey, so there you go. And that will be fine once it's in its little case. You can see it sort of bowing at the minute, but that will be absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry about it. So once you've done that with both your sheets of cards, you get those, and then all you're doing is stacking them on top. Now you can do it like that, but I have to admit I found it better. And again, it's just me. You don't have to. Just put some glue around just one of the edges, again to make it a little bit stronger for me. Okay. Yeah, it just slips in. I'm not worried about it. I'm not, make sure it butts up to the end. And because this is strong wet glue, that will dry quite quickly. And make sure it's also butted into the bottom. You can talk for England, Tracy, but I do remember not that long ago just how quiet you used to be. But yeah, it's good to see you found your voice. So yeah, so now you can see these will fit in, and we'll put them in properly into each of the, I'll be a bit careful because it's not entirely dry yet, into each of the little shelving bits. So yeah, there you go, you can see it coming along already. I'm just going to take these out while we construct the next bit. Put that aside. So just a reminder for anyone that's recently joined, this is what we're making. So it's a nice little 3-drawer box that you can decorate, and you can do whatever you want with it, really. Okay, so now we're moving on to the main casing, and I have to admit this is the bit that originally got me really stumped, and it was at this point I almost gave up on my project and thought, that's it, I'm not doing this. And if you'd seen how much cardstock I went through trying to do it, you'd understand. So with this, it's another sheet of card. Now in total I used, not fully, but 5 12 by 12 sheets of cardstock. Now there are some of you out there that are far cleverer than me who will work out how to make less, because there's lots of bits left over and some substantial bits. I'm not worried about that because I'll use them on my cards and for other projects, but it just means that I've got bits left over. Some of you will be able to condense it down and use less than that. So for this, I've used a sheet of card that is 9 1/4. Actually, I think it's 9 6. Let me just check. Yeah, 9 6/16 by 9 3/4. And what I've done is, so on the shorter side, I've scored it at 3 3/16 and then 6 5/16. Again, I'll write this down so you don't need to memorise all these measurements. And then on the longer side, I scored it at 3 1/4 and then 6 1/2 inches. And then I cut through there, there, there and there. It's nice and easy. So this just gave me a sheet of card that almost looks square, but it's not. It's this side is longer, and you want to really work on the longer side here. So just 4 slits in it like that. I'm just going to flip it over, and then what you do, so this is where your shelving unit comes in. So you sit your shelf, so do this first before you glue anything, but you literally want to fold it over and get it as accurate as you can. Ugh. Hoping you can see what I'm doing. Let me turn it that way. So it literally all folds over together, and you want to do it, so as you can see this isn't the best because it shows there, but on most of this you will have more paper, so I wouldn't worry about that. But it might be that I do that one like that, or there, that one's the longer one. So essentially it will all come together. And as I said, I wouldn't worry too much about the seams because you're covering it. So once you're happy, then you can start gluing this down. You obviously can't glue the bottom because otherwise your drawer will get stuck, but you want to literally glue all the other bits. So I'm going to do this quickly. Again, please take your time because you'll be able to enjoy the process more as opposed to just showing it off on Facebook Live. And if I go quiet for a sec, it's because I am concentrating on this. Right, and then I went, no I didn't, so then I went. So even I can't remember which direction I went in, but let's do all of this and then we'll get there. Watch me scribble. Oh, I shouldn't have put, let's get rid of that. See, I told you while I was talking I'd get distracted and do something wrong. So that one goes under there, like that, under there. That's got nothing on, that's it, there you go. And give it just a little bit of a press. I promise it will be quite sturdy once the glue, and obviously you'll put a bit more glue on than I did. I've done that incredibly quickly for you. You're right, Claire washi tape does hide tons of sins, but hopefully there won't be too much to hide on this one. Now this is, if you press it in okay you should be fine, but if you've got say a tiny bit sticking out more than the others elsewhere, this is the point you can trim it off before you do more. But that's pretty accurate. I really did try hard to get the measurements. It doesn't look great at the minute because it's not decorated, but I tried really hard to get the measurements correct so that you wouldn't be trimming off here and there and you'd get your finished project. So there you go, so that's the base, and that's your little shelving unit, and then your drawers go in there. So the next bit, so that's the hardest bit I should say. It's all a lot simpler from here, I promise. So your next bit are the little covers with the decorative, I'll just bring the pink one out, with the decorative edges. And for this, and again, just like Blue Peter, I've already made some. I thought you didn't want me die cutting these in front of you. So here they are. So for this, they are, so you need 2, and in length from the start it's 10 2/16, and then width-wise they're 3 3/16. And I've scored them at 3 3/16 and 6.5 inches. And again, use my bone folder to really crease them properly. And then I used the wonderful Butterfly Flourish collection edgelets, and I've used this to die cut that wonderful butterfly. And it just goes to show it's really nice just to be able to use a little bit of it as well, so you don't have to use the entire edgelet, you can just use a bit. And I really liked that because of the width I was able to get the 2 halves, so for me there was still the symmetry there. So there you go. So you want 2 of those, and really simply, I actually glued these together first before I glued them down. Now for this bit, you've got 2 choices here actually. You can glue the sides down, or you can leave the sides, there we go, or you can leave the sides empty. It's up to you. There's no right or wrong here, because it will essentially, no, that is right. I thought I did it wrong then, I got a bit confused. So there's no right or wrong, so you can have it through opens and it flaps open, or you can glue those bits and just leave those open. Now for the sake of this, I've got that right. I think I've actually, I've got my measurements right, but I think I've scored it wrong, so you'll have to bear with me there. So I just put some glue on the bottom, and again, you don't even have to glue it, you can leave it as a completely separate entity here, and just glue that down. Now I did glue the sides, and the reason I did that was again just to give it a little bit more solidity, so I'll do that again. Now with the edgelets, actually one tip to tell you is, unless you've got an A4 machine, the edgelets were too wide to go in the way I wanted once I'd cut the cardstock. Now what I found, and I'll just get the edgelet out to show you, was that when I put it at an angle, thanks Heidi, really appreciate you popping the link there. So I'd already die cut my cardstock. I put the edgelet down and actually put it in the cutting plate at an angle, so I didn't push it all the way through. Lovely to see you, Tracy. I'll catch you again. Have a good meeting. I didn't put it all the way through. I just put it until it went through here. I think I even folded it up a little bit, so it went through enough to die cut it without ruining the rest. I did try like that and putting it in that way, but it did leave some marks on my cardstock. But I did find that once I put it in like this, but I put it in at sort of an angle on the cutting plate, that worked absolutely fine for me. But you might have other edge dies you want to use. This has got some beautiful ones. I think the in the loop ones would work really well with this. I think Daisy would work really well. And I'm sure you can do something with the mandalas. You might even just want to leave it as is and put a hole punch in it and use it as sort of a tag. You could use the tops of tags. So many different options there, but I chose to use the butterfly edgelets. So there we go. So there we have it so far. And now comes the decorating, and this was the simple bit. So for this I've used some really beautiful Christmas papers, and I've die cut cut these already, and I've already inked around the edges just so you don't have to waste your time watching me do that one. And so to decorate, so for the sides I needed 2 strips of paper, 3 2/16 across and 5 1/4 in height. And if you're doing what I've done, I've used some paper with wording on it, you want to make sure you die cut it the right side, unless of course you really don't matter, you really don't mind. Actually I've looked at that and I've die cut it a bit too tall. Maybe that's why my wouldn't work. Yeah. So let me just cut there a little bit. I'm not happy with that. Don't worry, I'll make sure the instructions I give you are 100% accurate. Okay, so I'm just going to take it, it's probably just under 3/4. There we go. And I'll just quickly ink around those edges as well. Thanks Sarah, really appreciate that. Again, please take more care. I'm conscious of time, conscious of babbling on. I don't want to bore you too much. Okay, now with these I didn't score them where I wanted, because it's quite easy enough to just fold them over. You literally just want to pop some glue on them. And these really are beautiful papers, so watch this space is all I'll say. And I think those of you that know me know how much I love my pretty paper, my good paper as well. Okay. Now I'm just going to put a bit of ink there because I wasn't able to do that beforehand. There we go. I'll just repeat here. Oh, thanks, Di. Sarah, I could be an expert at showing you what not to do. If you'd seen me earlier in the week when I was designing this project, it was literally bedlam. I've never gone through so much cardstock, and I had to keep telling myself, oh, see, and I've cut that now. Oh, I don't know. Don't worry, I'll make sure that this is right when I send it to you. There we go. There we go. And then there's bits for the back and sides as well. I didn't want to forget those. Just do that quite quickly. So some of you will have seen the DT team showing some sneak peeks of what's coming up on Thursday. It's really a show not to be missed, and this is just a fraction of what Lisa will be bringing to you. But some very, very exciting products coming. So do tune in on Thursday to see Lisa and her latest offerings. She did show you some of the mermaid tails yesterday. Oh my word, they're beautiful. So for those of you who love your mermaid tails, right, this is where I need to concentrate a sec. I'm not very good with doing things straight or right. Definitely not one to be missed, and perfect for sort of autumnal, Halloween, Christmassy type projects. No, that's still not straight. Let me get it off a sec before it dries. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay. And then for the drawers, I've just got 3 little strips that are 2 15/16. Yes, I know. And then 14th, 16th there, so just under an inch and just under 3 inches wide. I'll just pop those on there. Now, all in all, when I do this project properly and in good time, it took me probably about an hour, hour and a half to do. Yes, Sarah, there's over 18 of them, and wow, who'd have thought there'd be such an addiction to mermaid tails? At least got something to answer for there, but you know, they are absolutely beautiful. Ooh, blimey. Make sure you don't stick your drawer down to another bit of cardstock you've glued. So yeah, it took probably about an hour, hour and a half in total from start to finish to do this properly and to do it to the standard you really want to do it to. There you go. Okay, so next thing is to put, start prettying it up, I guess. And I've got my little, this is just a little trinket tray that I had bought for me for Christmas. And for those of you that know me, know I love pussycats, so there we go. So for the drawers, you can use anything. You can use some buttons. You could use wherever you want really for the drawer handles. I've used some hitch fasteners just because I've got loads in my stash and I actually like using them. Although I will be very, very careful because I also have a tendency to drop them and that would scare you on the hard floor. It makes hell of a noise. Right, so now I'm going to just use my crocodile. Now, my advice, if you're like me, make sure you measure things, and you literally just want it at 1.5. So just put a little mark roughly at 1.5 inches on each of them. So you can see the dot, so it's roughly about there. And do that one again. and just cut a small hole. That's all you need really. She says, thinking she's not going to get through it. There we go. Perfect. You can just use a pokey tool. I did use a pokey tool originally because, as you can see, it's not easy to get a normal crocodile unless you've got the big bite into there. But for ease of time really, because with a, I don't know, I didn't quite centre there. With a pokey tool you have to really poke around and to get it accurate, and then you just put these on here. I'll do this quickly so that you're not watching me. Bloody hell, Lisa, 22, wow. That's amazing. I know a few of you that will be topping up to 22. Seriously, if you're not home to watch on Tuesday, do record the shows or do look in advance and buy what you need, because honestly, the talent with what's coming, the designs are phenomenal. So yeah, tune in. Obviously I won't give too much away, but you will have seen some of the sneak peeks. This is where, goodness. Or is it my mother used to say, more haste, less speed? Oh, goodness. This rate will be, yeah, I'll do this one afterwards. Just got some all fingers and thumbs. This is because you're all watching me. I do this with medicine tubes all the time. I can never get the top back on first time. Right, let's pretend that's on and I will finish it off later. There we go. So these then just go into your little shelving unit. There you go. And then to finish, I've just got some seam binding. I've also made up a little butterfly, and I've got some of those gorgeous pearls as well. So we don't need too much of this seam binding, probably. Let's do half. And I just thought it was pretty just to put around and through here, and it just creates a little tie closure for you. Just another detail, quite pretty. Not going to tie a bow on air, so to speak, because that will take far too long for me. That's that one. And then I die cut from the Butterfly Flourish collection. I didn't go for the biggest one, however my biggest size box does have the biggest one there, but I went for the next butterfly down, and I used the main larger edge to cut a butterfly in green, and then I used the smaller detailed one to cut it out of the same papers. And these were just scraps really from some of the bits I had left. I'll just do this quite quickly. I've already inked around each of these to make them stand out. There we go. And then I'm just going to put, here's my wonderful pick-up tool. I've got the blue and I've also got the pink, which is wonderful. So I'm just going to put a larger gem just in the middle of that butterfly. Ooh. See, all fingers and thumbs now. If you haven't used this pick-up tool before, now I've used quite a lot on the market, but this is so good and so sticky. It hasn't failed me yet. So absolutely worth every penny for that. Now to stick this onto your project and to make it stand up, just really, really simple. I've got two tiny bits of card that I've saved. I'm just going to put a bit of glue on them. And put one there right at the bottom on the back, making sure it butts up to the bottom. And again, one on the other. And once everything's closed, you can't actually see it. And then Just glue that one down. And that makes your butterfly stand up. Now, if you intend to keep this closed and you don't wish for it to be opened, you can also add a bit of glue and stick the butterfly there so it will be completely sealed there as well. And then to finish, I've just got some more gems which I'll just pop on, and I'm using the barley AB pearls. This time, so I use the 6mm for the butterfly, but I'm using lots of the 4mm as well. And the colours of the pearls are absolutely beautiful, and they come in so many different shades. Absolutely adore these. But these barley, I couldn't believe my luck. They go perfect with this paper that I'm using. Quiet a sec while I'm concentrating. And you can see just how easy the pickup tool is making me put in these pearls on, whereas previously, even with tweezers, I'd have been faffing about and doing all sorts. So there we go. I'll just put a few on there as well. Actually, thinking about it, I know exactly what I did wrong with that outer cover. I've die cut the butterfly out of the wrong edge. That's what I've done, which is why it doesn't quite fit. So at least I know. And there you have it. Apart from, let me see if I can do this one again, because it will bug me. There we go. So it's taken me just under 3/4 of an hour to show you bits that I've already die cut, and no, I'll have to do it afterwards, and got ready. But you can see, so there's the green one, not quite dry, not quite finished perfectly. And then once you take the time to actually do it properly, there's my blue one. And I do really think, I mean, they look so different, but so beautiful. And as I said, watch this space for these beautiful papers as well, because they're coming. And once you've glued it properly and you've taken your time, this is the finished article. And I'm really pleased with that. I know that I can fill it with treats, and I know I can give this away, and most of the recipients I can think of will be really, really delighted to receive something. And once they've used whatever it is, they can store other stuff in it. So they can store some of their own jewellery, they can store, I don't know, tickets, whatever. So there we have it. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me ramble along for what's been nearly 45 minutes. I will, as promised, put the instructions together for you, and I'll post them. I'll probably do it, if I can, as a file at the top of the page so you can access them whenever. There will also be a YouTube video, and then once I've finalised the I can show you what I've done actually so far. This is just my template, but I am looking at making a bigger version of this. The only difference will be that I'm working on how to make this bit. You can see the mismatched paper, it's just scrap paper. How to make it fit properly, 'cause a 12 by 12 on its own won't fit something quite so big. So thank you very much for joining me. If you have any, oh, that's a great idea, Claire, hide secret messages in as well. Although secret messages for loved ones for me would be things like, please make me a cup of tea, I think, or where's the pussycat, where's my Sid, but hey ho. So thank you for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I appreciate the time. I hope I've done Dawn proud, seeing as it's normally her slot on a Friday, and I'm sure she'll be back next week. I promise I won't leave it too long before I do another live. But yeah, have a great weekend, everyone, and I really look forward to seeing your takes on these. So please have a go once I post the instructions and show me what you make. I really look forward to seeing to it. Take care. Bye.